Today, I am going to talk about how movies constantly portray their characters in different ways due to race and gender. Specifically, I am going to be talking about how this is done in the major motion picture known as The Hunger Games. In The Hunger Games, the three black characters are portrayed as unpowerful, weak, and more feminine. In contrast, the white characters are shown with much more privilege, power, and toughness. In particular, white male characters are in immense control of society. This reproduces the concepts of hegemony, power, and privilege that revolve around race and gender often. There are a few verbal and nonverbal gender cues that are specific to white and black characters in this movie as well, which I will also be talking about. This argument is evident in different ways, starting with the people in positions of power. President Snow, the leader of Panem, and Seneca Crane, the man in charge of running the Hunger Games, are the two most powerful individuals in the film. They are both white males in charge of countless people, including the black characters Cinna, Rue, and Thresh, who I will go into more depth about later on. Crane has been in control of a handful of games, and Snow has been in complete control of all 12 Panem districts for a number of years. All of the other game makers are white men too. This is an example of hegemony, because this rich pair of white men and their henchmen have been in complete control of countless people for a very long time. In addition to Snow and Crane, Haymitch is another white male character that has a major influence on the film. He is the mentor for Katniss Everdeen, offering tips for survival before the games begin. He is very outgoing, aggressive, yells often, and doesn't care about his appearance at all. These are all extremely masculine verbal and nonverbal cues. On the flip side, the closest thing to Haymitch in terms of a black character is Cinna. Cinna is a black man who is simply in charge of making dresses and making sure Katniss looks attractive. The film portrays Cinna in a much more feminine way. He wears makeup and clearly cares about how he looks. He tries to generate warmth through touch whenever he is with Katniss to calm her down. These are feminine nonverbal cues. The film is showing white males like Haymitch as masculine, while the main black man, Cinna, is very feminine. The Hunger Games itself is an annual event to provide entertainment to the capital and remind everyone of their power. Of the 9 known tributes in the film, only 2, Rue and Thresh from District 11, are black. Both of these characters eventually meet their demise. Before dying, Rue was seen as weak and was quickly killed after messing with a group of tributes known as the Careers. All of the Careers, Cato, Clove, Marvel, and Glimmer, are white and are much more outspoken and aggressive than Rue and Thresh were. Before passing, Rue cared about Katniss, and Thresh cared about Rue. Showing them in a much more caring manner made them appear much more feminine than the Careers, who appeared very masculine. Similar to Cinna, Rue was a much more feminine individual than her white counterpart and friend, Katniss. Katniss was seen as strong, brave, and witty by the people in the arena and almost everyone watching the games. In contrast, Rue did not receive the same type of respect or sympathy. She was only 12 years old when selected as a tribute for the games. Katniss's sister Prim, who was roughly the same age, was also selected, but Katniss took her place. Katniss is seen as a fearless white woman for taking such a young girl's spot. However, nobody offered to save Rue from participating in the games. Katniss, a white girl, was brave enough to volunteer, but no one volunteered from District 11, which was made up of all black people. In the Hunger Games, Black people are immediately seen as less outspoken and more feminine than the white characters due to their lack of concern for such a young girl. This is a trend that continues as we learn more about Rue and Thresh throughout the film. Each participant in the arena can be given help from sponsors if they are in need of assistance. When Katniss is severely injured, she is gifted a healing cream that magically cures her deep cut. On the other side of the spectrum, Rue did not receive any help when she was in deep trouble and ultimately facing death. This is an example of privilege for Katniss from the people in the capital. Someone liked her and believed in her enough to help her survive, while Rue was obviously not privileged enough to receive any help. Even though she was only 12 years old, they did not help her survive. Her death simply added to their entertainment and the games. Thresh, who was from the same district as Rue, took a different approach in the games than the white participants. For example, Cato, the head of the Careers Alliance, was in total control of Glimmer, Clove, and Marvel, giving orders on what they should do. He also did not care much about their feelings, as he was solely focused on winning. He often challenged the people in his alliance to kill other contestants in the games and told jokes, which are noted components of masculine communication. He is very powerful as he is in charge of 4 other participants when Peeta is on his side, too. The black character Thresh, on the other hand, does not exhibit general masculine communication or power. Thresh is more quiet and a much more emotional character than Cato. Even though he makes it very far in the games, he barely receives any screen time in the movie. However, he is clearly very upset when Rue dies because he looks for her killer, finds Clove, who did it, and kills her. He is not much of a talker, but he definitely cares about the people close to him very much, who was Rue in this case. For example, he tells Katniss, just this one time, 12, for Rue, instead of letting Clove kill her, because she cared about Rue too. Like Cinna, Thresh is another black character who appears to be more feminine than his male counterpart. To add insult to injury, Cato is also the one who killed Thresh, further demonstrating white dominance and power, particularly white males, over the other people in the film. Moving forward, movies like The Hunger Games should consider alternate character traits and ideas. White males and the white race in general are too often in focus and in control, especially on the big screen. Look at the Oscars. There have been 92 ceremonies, but only 5 black people have won Best Actor or Actress in a leading role. In the future, there are a few ways to create more equal situations and representations in films. The Hunger Games could have done things a little differently. For example, there could have been 1 or 2 more tributes that were black. By going this route, the film would demonstrate that black people also have a chance to better their lives by reaching certain heights, not just white people dominating high positions like they have in the past. In terms of character traits, a character like Cato or Crane could have been black, or even been a black girl. By including this in the film, white people would not be seen as totally dominant and masculine compared to black people taking a more feminist and backseat approach. This would have helped show that it is okay to be outspoken and in charge of others, regardless of race or gender. Overall, movies need to consider how they portray each of their characters, especially those of different races and genders. Yes, Katniss is seen as a brave and strong girl, but Rue is viewed as the complete opposite. A group of white men like Snow and Crane are in charge of 12 entire districts of people. Haymitch is much more masculine than Cinna is seen on film. Thresh is not often pictured, but is clearly more feminine than Cato and the careers in general. Cinna, Rue, and Thresh all meet their demise. In order to show that it is okay for any race to have power and be masculine or feminine, The Hunger Games and future films need to consider adding a few characters or changing the way a few are perceived.